Revi, the Parshas Teruma.
I can hear it.
Okay. Take away.
Always takes time. Always takes time. I can hear that.
You hear?
Always takes time.
Take two. There's nothing. I told you. The Ezra's Hashem is Barach. Yom Revi LeParshas Teruma Shnas Tavshin Zayin Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. Just to begin with a little clarification of what we were trying to get across yesterday. But due to technical difficulties, we might have gotten it not so clear. The simcha that we have to practice in Adar is the simcha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so close to us, and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us so much. The way we show that we are Sameach is by serving Hashem b'simcha, by understanding of the great benefit that we have to serve Hashem b'simcha. The mitzvahs hayoim that were nitaisif to us bring us simcha, and we want to fulfill those mitzvahs b'simcha. And the spitz of the simcha is when we have the opportunity and we practice the simcha by being doime l'shchina. The fact that Hashem is so close to me, Hashem wants me to emulate Him. He wants me to reflect His midas. And the spitz of that midah was lahachis ruach shvach. So the whole avodah of Adar is to be marbe b'simcha, in appreciation of being oved Hashem b'simcha in all of our inyanim, to counter the sins that brought about the gzeiras misa upon us. Today I want to share with you an understanding and insights that many people don't know, they don't talk about. They grow up from kindergarten making Purim plays, stories of Purim. Adar is about fish. They drew pictures of fish in Adar. We have Big Bad Haman, and then this Queen Esther, the beautiful queen. Everybody tries to be Queen Esther. And in Yisroel, the great tzaddikim, instead of having a beauty pageant, they make an Esther pageant by the Friar. That's what they make this time of the year. They have their Esther pageant. Who's the Malka Esther, and so on and so forth. And all they do is marbeh b'chatayim. But we want to understand a little bit of an insight into what the chatayim were. What were the chatayim? So the Chazal tell us, we're going to begin with a pasuk in Yirmiyah. In Perek Zayin it says as follows: Lemin hayoim asher yotzu avoseichem me'eretz Mitzrayim ad hayoim hazeh. From the day that your forefathers left Mitzrayim, the Navi told us, V'eshlach aleichem es kol avodai hanavim. I sent to you all my avodai hanavim. You know what that means? You know how many Nevi'im there were? Have any idea? Anybody have any idea? Kiflayim, the Gemara says, Ki Yotzei Mitzrayim. 1,200,000. Hashem says, I sent to you Kol Avodai Hanavim. You want to know? It says, every single day in the morning, and every single day in the night. Every morning and every night. V'lo yishamu elai. You didn't listen to me. V'lo hitu es ozlam. You didn't even put your ears. They said, what's Zakman done? Vayakshu es arpam. You stiffened your necks. Hey reyu me'avoisim. You did worse than your forefathers. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent so many messages in the form of Nevi'im to wake us up that we should change our ways. Chazal say every morning, every night. That's that. Why do you need so many? Want to know something why? Very pushing. You ever try to give a guy Musar in the morning? You know what he says to you? I'm not a morning person. You ever try to give a person Musar at night? He tells you, at night, I can't hear Musar now. Now's not time to hear Musar. I said, okay, let me try one in the morning, let me try one at night. What do you have to send 1,200,000 Nevi'im for? Why can't one Navi do the same job? Same problem. You know what happens? That rabbi, he talks too strong. That Navi, he's too sharp. I like the softer touch. I like the one rabbi, and the Navi, he smiles. There's a little goatee maybe a couple of whiskers under his nose. He smiles and he says, understanding. I like all kind of types. Each guy, whatever you send him, he doesn't like that type. No. I don't like his niggin. I like this, I like that. So Hashem sends him what happened. And what happened? That's what it says in the Navi. Navi says in Divrei Yamim, if Hashem sends all these miracles, all these prophets, Vayiyu mal'ivim b'malich machelikim. They used to mock. They made fun of the malach helikim, the shluchim of Hashem. Uboizim dvarav. They would mamish be mevazed dvarav umitatim. They would mamish degrade the Nevi'im. Instead of saying, thank you, Rabbi, we hear you, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. You know, no thank you, but yes, thank you. Mamish, straight out. Hear that? Until, it says in the pasuk, ad alois chamas Hashem, until the anger of Hashem became so kindled, ba'amoy ad le'ein marpei. There was no cure, no healing. Rambam writes in Tshuva that there came the day where HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Klal Yisroel, I tried so hard to bring you back to Tshuva. I gave you so many messages. And I gave you an eitzah how to cure all your problems, all your shortcomings. And stay healthy. But you know what? You got to the point of ad la'ein marpe. And Hashem says, I'm taking away the chance for you to do tshuva. Now you're going to experience churban habayis. Pasuk says, mikaf regel va'ad rosh ein boy mesayim. There was no place. Terrible zach. What's the pshat over here? You know what kind of charoin af they had? Now what was the first chet? The Chazal tell us the first chet that transpired in the days of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was a unique, evil fellow. First of all, he's one of the few individuals who is molach b'kippah. He, less than a handful of people, ruled the entire universe, entire world from one end to the other end. That was Nebuchadnezzar. He was a Balgaiva Natsta. But he was this outstanding Shlechte Midas mensch. But in order to make his covet greater, you know what he decided to do? He decided to build himself a statue of himself. You know how high it was? 60 amas. You know how high 60 amas is? Minimum 100 feet, maybe up to 120 feet. And it was very thin. It wasn't wide, it was thin. Now, such a thing couldn't stand on the ground unless you're going to put 1/3 of it in the ground, like a telephone pole. Doesn't stay in the ground. You got to put 1/3 of it in the ground. And he stood it up like this without going into the ground at all, and it didn't fall. And this Avodah Zarah was making an announcement all day long. You know what this pesel was saying? From its mouth was coming out, Anoichi Hashem Elikecha, Anoichi Hashem Elikecha. Can you imagine such a thing today? They have such a thing today? Oh, today we have technology. Today we have electric. So everybody would understand they put a tape recorder in the thing, but then they didn't have tape recorders. No. What was the sheker over here? What was the gracious sheker? How did he do this? Take a shtick. This is when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the base Avigdor. He cleaned it out. Took a lot of clay kodesh with him. One of the things he took was the tzitz. There was a little forehead plate the Kohen Gadol would wear, and it had the name of Hashem, the Shem HaKadosh, on his forehead. So what he did was, he put this tzitz inside the mouth of the pesel, and that enabled the pesel to stand, and enabled it to say these funny words. Yeah. And this is what spoke. Just by the way, you know what was the end of this pesel? A famous tzaddik named Daniel, because Nebuchadnezzar brought Daniel there, and this great tzaddik, he wanted to show him this moifus. He thought he was going to be able to stick around with Daniel. So Daniel said, "Wow, I'm impressed. Is it possible to arrange for me? I want to climb up there and give him a hug. I want to give him a kiss." Nebuchadnezzar hears this. So they had to proceed to build a ladder, and you can mamish go, unbelievable. Daniel climbs up there, and he takes a look in the peh, and he sees the tzitz. So he says to it, "You should know you're machal shem shemayim. You're machal shem shemayim." And he mentioned the name of Hashem, and the tzitz came out of the mouth, and he put it in his own mouth. This piece. And he climbed down from his ladder, and all of a sudden, boop, the whole tzelem fell down, and the tzelem stopped talking. No? But you know what kind of damage Nebuchadnezzar did till then? He was mitzvah for every nation in the universe to come, and he had, even Klal Yisrael, he didn't have to come, and they had to send them mishlachas from the entire world, and then every single day they had to go into this the Chotzer Beis HaMalchus, where this tzelem was standing, and they had to be menagin b'klishir mamish, and they had specific klishir that were very chashiv in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. And he put these klishir there, and Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah were the only ones that didn't mishtachev into the heichal. They said, we're not bound down to this. Every nation in the world, even Yidden, a lot of Yidden bound down to this. They had a representation. Every nation had to have a representation to serve this thing every single day. And they were prepared to get burnt al Kiddush Hashem. They threw them into a kivsha ne'esh, and they were saved. Benisim and Efloyas. Yeah, it's a shaila, halachically, what was it? Was it a statue of himself? Was it Avodah Zarah? Doesn't make a difference. there was a Chilul Hashem b'Farhesia to bow down to this thing. And therefore, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were prepared to die al Kiddush Hashem. And they came out alive. The Gemara says in Megillah, Daf Yud Beis, Reb Shimon ben Yochai says, you want to know why this terrible Gzeira happened to Klal Yisroel? You want to know why it happened? It happened because of they were mishtachaved to the Heichel, mishtachaved to this Avigdor. That's what they did. Yeah. And they did a terrible thing. Now, the Gemara points out that don't think for 1 second that Klal Yisroel actually had any faith or any belief in this thing. They knew it was a joke, they knew it was a shtick, but they did it mitoich yira upachad. Gemara calls it, they worshipped it lifnim, in the chutz. But you know what happened? It was a great Chilul Hashem. And they didn't do tshuva. You have to know that. I'm sure there were many people who thought they don't have to do tshuva. They said, what kind of tshuva is this? It's a Gzeiras Malchus. He did it b'teich pachad. Who's going to go against the Nebuchadnezzar? He's the leader of the whole entire world. What do you want from us? To play along? But the Midas Hadin said, what? Who says you're not going to be chayzer on the Chilul Hashem b'Farhesia? That's what it said. Because I'll bring down this medrash. And they said, you saw Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah who weren't mishtachaveh. And you still had the chutzpah to be mishtachaveh? What's wrong with you? No. They gave kedima to Yiras Basar V'Dam over Yiras Hashem. And that was a chet of lacking of emunah. And there was no koil, there was no arousing of Klal Yisroel to do tshuva. So not only they made a Chilul Hashem b'Farhesia, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was patient, Chazal tell us. But eventually Hashem decided it was time to collect. That was one of the chatoyim that Chazal tell us took place when you have to understand this because it's a pchodim. We wouldn't even see this as a severe chet. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw this as a chet to be mechayiv misa, gzeiras kliya, with no return. That was the first chet that they did. The second chet they did was when Achashverosh took over, and Achashverosh became the melech of Paras. Chazal tell us the guy was mamish, he hated Klal Yisroel more than Haman. Can you imagine what that means, more than Haman? And besides that, Haman was a shutef. A Zachavrusi, you're not zeichet to every single day. No? So he had a Zachavrusi. Haman was Mizer Amalek. And Achashverosh was busy in pumping himself up because he was a stable horse. From the horses, he worked with the horses. He came from nothing. Maybe had a fancy hairdo. And then he was zeichet to become the leader of the world, the Sheimer Asusim decided, so he decided, so before they decided, years before they decided to be geyser, destruction on Klal Yisroel, and before the Maisa with Mordechai, Haman comes to Achashverosh and he says, you know what? Let's have a shmooze, this discussion. The government, they discuss all possibilities, future plans. And Haman said, what would we do if someday we're going to want to make a gzeira on Klal Yisroel? No. Haman said, I have a Messiah from my Zayda Amalek. We have an Alta Cheshbin. So Achashverosh says, no, what's your plan? So he says, we can't do this only if we matzliach to get the Klal Yisrael to sin. And we got to get them to sin in the type of sin that's going to tick off Hashem. Hashem is Avarachman, but he has a Charainav too, he gets ticked. If you tick him off, and then they'll make a Gzeira in Shemayim on them, and we'll be able to be matzliach. What do you mayayitz? Was sagst du Eitze? Homo. So you know what he says? Elokeim shel elu soynei zim. The Hashem of these folk nation hates immorality. Hates preachers. No. What do you see from this? Somebody once asked an interesting question. He said, what's that? It says a number of places, Elokeim shel elu soynei zim. Doesn't every God, you think the first religion, the first tenet of any religion would be in the world would be to be against immorality? Why does it say Elokeim shel elu? Because it was a havamina that he wouldn't be soynei zima. The Kamash one, Elokeim shel elu soynei zima. So the Talmud of the Vilna Gaon, the big Talmud named Menachem Mendel Shklov, in the city of Shklov, writes, Kibalti mimoyri v'Rebbe Hagoy. Hear this Kabbalah? He says, Sheyesh loy b'Mesiris. He has a b'Mesiris. Ish mipi ish ad hagoyim. I'm a Mesiris the Goyin had from the Goyin. And they had the Mesiris back to Moshe Rabbeinu. Very good Mesiris. Shalachol avodah zarah. Each avodah zarah had next to it avodah saznus. With every avodah zarah that existed in the world, always came along with it a shtickle avodah of znus. And that's why, we'll reveal a secret. That's why, whenever it talks about avodah zarah, you know what it refers to it as? Znus. Zonu acharei habaylim. It's always about znus. What's that znus? So he said, because every avodah zarah came along with some znus. That's why Haman said, Elokeim shel elu, however, is soynei. All the other avodah zarahs loves him. That's now you know Pshat in the Gemara. Shveri Gemara. The Gemara says that the only reason why Klal Yisroel worshipped avodah zarah, the Gemara says it's an Hedron, was only lahatir lahem znus. Remember the first time I saw this Gemara, I taught this Gemara, but I said to myself, what's the pshat? Avodah zarah's matri znus? What religion in the world allows znus? I'm only have religions that do znus, in spite of what they believe. But there were Sheva mitzvahs. They were always znus. They were God your atzman. The Bnei Noach thing was God your atzman. They understood znus. This is the terror. Once they got into avodah zarah, every avodah zarah came with znus. So the Jew said, I want to try this avodah zarah. They got to kashmak avodah zarah. No. So Haman tells them like this, I think we should make a party. For you, for your covet. And at a certain time in the party, we should invite everybody from the capital city, including the Yidden, and they should come to the Beis HaMelech, be mishtatev b'nesuda, But the Yidden aren't going to come stamazah. So you have to prepare for them oichel kosher lemahadra. Interesting, the Beis Yosef, in the Sefer Magid Meshorim, the Beis Yosef was a megala to the Beis Yosef, that even the waiters at Haman's party, at Achashverosh's party, were Yidden who were Shomrei Shabbos. As I state Magid Meshorim. One of the secrets here, push it, the waiters, Shomrei Shabbos. You know why? So the wine shouldn't be Yain Nesach. Mamish, everything. They didn't have waitresses, priestess waitresses like today you have in the Chassidus. They had over there, what's it called? But they should have no teretz. The Yidden should have any teretz why they're not coming to the party. But he says one more thing do. The ones who clean the table off, have some people who offer service in the middle, butler service. They come in the middle. They offer you take away your plates. That's usually andere the bchusim. They usually the riffraff. They got. Those should be noshim prutzes. Noshim prutzes. That's what you do. And they should be mistaviv. They should raise a charum over there, bein agvarim. And that's going to cause hirhurim for the Yidden. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be full of anger in them, and we're going to be able to be nixon. Now, can you imagine a guy came today to Rosh Hashanah and said, "You'd be macher of Klal Yisrael"? He said, "How?" Because you make a dinner in a famous hotel. Azak Kiddush Hashem. What are you talking about? Instead of having Obama speak from the thing, you have a Shiva with the longer board, and they have kashrus, mashgichim, unbelievable mashgichim over there. They kasher the kitchen, they kasher for Pesach before they come in. Private kitchen, separate kitchen, unbelievable. I once went to such an affair a long time ago, and I asked her, she was in charge of longer board, what's with the kasher? He said, I'm assuming it's good. But they had it over here, Mahadrim and Mahadrim. That's that. Aber Pavaibalach, you're bringing a chema, shvucha, you're bringing a terrible anger on Klal Yisrael. Haman knew he didn't have to show movies. He didn't have to have in the bathroom, these videos or something over there, and sneak in a couple of bad videos. He didn't have that because he didn't know for sure all the Yidden would be in the bathroom. But what's your call? A girl once called me up. She went to this fancy place in Manhattan on a date, and when she came out, they had some kind of video, and you could press a button to see different things about New York City, about the hotel. And she sees the chassan. His eyes were glued to the video, and he was watching women dancing in a troupe. And she came out and she was watching him. She called me up and she says, "The guy's, what's the pshat? What's the pshat?" I said, "I hope you won't have video in your house. I mean, what can I tell you?" I said, it probably was, I just wanted to understand what it was. I said, no, it was part of the fancy hotel. So they had like a little screen there. I guess one person went to the bathroom, the other person shouldn't mevazvus his man, wasted no bittel's man. So they show you some things to see. So I said, listen, I don't think he went lahedya to watch that video. But he saw a thing, he went to see it, and maybe it was nimshach and nigra. It's spelled exact. You hear that? Could you imagine this was the ganze eitzah from him? No. What happened? Mordechai, who was the Rosh HaGolos, Mordechai was from the Anshe Knesset Agdoila. He heard all these signs, saw all these signs in the street, inviting the Yidden to the thing, and he saw everybody has to show up. No, he didn't know the background at that point. Came into all the Bati Midrashim and Bati Knesiyas, and he said, I read the signs, mitam hamalchus, and I'm paskening for you. Do not go to the Suda of Achashverosh. I'm telling you it's awesome. I can't tell you how, I don't know what, but I know it's a pischem peh. I know this is a tachbula of the Eitzahara. He's trying to set you up to have the midas hadin. Be mekatreg on us. He was the Nasi of Shevet Binyamin. And he had a din of Russia Goliath over in that time. He was the leader. And they all went. Yeah? You know what happened? Same thing had happened in the earlier time. They were mal'ivim b'malachi elakim. What's the guy drain over here, you understand? They didn't listen to him. They said, you want to anger the melech? Yeah, we're on good terms with Achashverosh. We don't want to mess up the guy's being mechabed himself. If we're not going to be a mechabed, it's going to be terrible for us. You got to go to what you're called. To this Beis HaMalchus. Pella now, how a lot of Rabbanim, the presidents, make Chanukah parties. They make Chanukah parties, they make two of them. They make Chanukah parties before Chanukah. And everybody participates in the halachas. I'm thinking to myself, am I missing my brain here? What is going on over here? Well, what's the pshat? And everybody show Aleichem to Mrs. Obama and Mr. Obama. The wife there's no. What do you think they bring? They don't even do what Haman did. They don't bring Shemer Torah mitzvahs. They bring kosher food. That they do. But they don't bring Shemer Torah mitzvahs to be the waiters. You can imagine they bring the waiters over there. No, it's mamish the zel bazah. It's kvoid hamalchus, good terms to be friendly with the melech. Chazal tell us, you know how many Yidden went to that thing? 18,500 Yidden went to that Suda. In spite of Mordechai's psak, loy telech. It's just like today, no listens. Yeah? Achlu, Vishasu, they got shikr, and the skalkul. Now Chazal don't tell us exactly what the kilkel was. But a lot of Svarim want to say all kinds of Svaros. But one thing we know from Chazal, that the prutzos were drained zich around over there. And because of this, the plan was they should get Hirurim. The Satan got up, it says, Miyad, Omer HaSatan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he said, Rebbeinu Shalom, how long are you going to stick with this ummah that separates its slave from you and from trusting you? You know what I'm saying? Two things here. First, they don't have a moon in you, they went to worship Nebuchadnezzar. That was for Kvoid HaMalchus. And now for the stable guy, the horse guy, they're going to his party, to mechaber him, not to tick him off. No? Unbelievable. Rebbeinu Shalom, he says, Ritzoincha, know what I think? Abeid Uma Zu Min Ha'olam. Destroy this nation from the world. That's not possible. Wipe him off the map. Erase him. Not give him a clap, not give him a patch. Wipe him off. So the Satan asks, HaKadosh Baruch Hu asks the Satan, who's going to learn Torah? If there's no Yidden, who's going to learn Torah? Without Torah, the world surely won't exist. The world needs Torah to exist. So the Satan was Chacham. She said, why? Why should you destroy the world? You have Del Yoinim. You have Del Yoinim. Malachim. Malachim Ayla. They're not going to get involved in any narishkeit. They're not going to get involved in any chatoyim. They don't make any tzaras. They don't cause a churban. They'll be Mekayim in the world. There's enough chassidim in Shemayim. In the yeshiva Shemayim. You hear that? It's amazing. Chazal tells very strong things. That Chazal said, listen to the Lashon of Chazal. Hishvedaitoi limchois es Yisroel. Hashem agreed to be Moichi Yisroel. When he heard this, Hashem said, okay, Hishvedaitoi. V'oise shah Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lama li uma, what do I need a nation for? Shebishvili for them. I was marba oisoisai umoivsai to anybody who got up against them. And therefore, ashbisa me'enosh zichram. I'm going to wipe out from mankind their memory. Yud Narai. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu paskin over here in this place of Haman. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Haman, to the Satan, Lech, I'll go, bring me a Megillah. V'echtev aleim kli, I'm going to write a gzeirus kli on them. Ba'isha Shah says the Satan went and it brought a Megillah and Hashem wrote the gzeirus kli on them. Now you have to know, I want you to know, this was a number of years before Haman had his story. Before that. No? Who was there present this time? Witness to this? Unser alter Yedid, Eliyahu Navi. What did he do? He went to the others. Went to Avram, Yitzchak, Yankiv. Woke him up. He said, what are you waking us up for? He told him what's going on. He said, your bneichem, mamash got exeris clear. Hashem wrote it out. He said, what for what chet? He said, the final kicker was, al shenenu misudus achashverosh. No? He said, what do you want from us? They turned back over to sleep. We don't want to get mixed in. It says, Eliyahu went to all them, finally went to get the end to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu, he said, you're a loyal shepherd. Could you you're the one who stood and protected Klal Yisrael when they did terrible things. In this year, in this Elam Hazah, you were the Meilut Yesher for them. Please, you're also going to be quiet. So Moshe said, Eliyahu, go look at the Megillah. Go take a peek at that Megillah. See how it's signed. Is it signed with blood, redding, or with tit, with mud? Otam. No. If it's bedam, might have kamina. He said, if it's bedam, don't bother me. It's too late. No. If it's betit, with mud, there's an efsharis. There's a possibility for Yeshua. Eliyahu came back and told him, it's betit of Azay, yesh efsharis. But it's a small one of Yeshua. Tell me, he says, let me ask you one more shayla now. Klum yesh adam kosher ba'isei adar. Is there anybody in that door? That's a pelting kasher. They had Nevi'im amongst them. At that point, they had Nevi'im. They had people who were Anshe Knesses Hagdoila. What the pshat over here? Yeah? So he said, yesh. There's no adam kosher. Who? His name is Mordechai. Oh, Mordechai said, no, go tell Mordechai about this gzeira, take it from Yad, and tell him in Shemayim what's going on, and when it's going to be Tigzor Ba'aretz, he should immediately be Nichnas L'Tfila. That's the only thing you can do. And if he's going to do everything he can do with Tfila, I'm going to be Mamlitz for them, L'fnei Kisei HaKavod. Yeah, that's what Moshe Rabbeinu said. Yeah, unbelievable. Now this appella, because the Gemara says clearly, what's talking about Pshat? How did the Yidden get out of this Avigdor? So the Gemara says, because they really didn't do it sincerely, that way they did this Avigdor only klap yichutz, out of fear. Therefore, there was a mokim to get, we would have said if a guy does something out of fear, that's nothing. It's Kodesh Kinchet. We would have said it's not even a chet. It's cool. That's what we would have said. These are the chatoyim, the two chatoyim, the Klal Yisrael sin. Number one, they were nenem yisudus achashverosh, and they were mis'arav with the goyim. They went to the ball games. Never forget them. They made in Cleveland the Grace Tzlocha. They made a kosher hot dog stand. It was mamish like Yehuda Ma'isayir v'Simcha v'Sasa v'Kar in Cleveland. Then they mamish made it, and they made a big ball game day for the covered dizach. And there was one Rav sitting there with a Hamburg, a black jacket, his tie. He get a polo shirt. He was wearing his Hamburg at the thing. I was thinking to myself, what is the pshat? Where are we going? Where are we at? What is happening to this world? You know what kind of preachers there are at these ball games? Did they forget what happened to Achashverosh? They forget the Gzeirus Kliyah that was. There's not the guys who sell the hot dogs. The people who's running around over there are Geferla. What is the pshat? Oh, but they sing the national anthem. They started off with a little religious avoidance, a service. Sing the national anthem. Stand up, please. Relax. You listen to Kol Isha singing the national anthem. Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. People know Chattis. Today we don't look at a very. You tell a guy that the problem going to a ball game, as the Reitzach, the Noshim Prutzais in the ganze place. No guy look at you. What do you live? Are you living this generation? Are you out of your mind? I'll come back to you. Do you walk in the street? Do you do this? Do you do that? It's unbelievable. I was saying, I was amazed. I was in Yisroel of Riverdale. And the Rav got up on Shabbos and said, I'm giving my yearly speech that I give every year, my summer speech. I was so happy I was there that Shabbos. I thought this guy must be on drugs. He got up and he said, I have to tell you again and reiterate, it's usher for you to walk in the street from today till the end of the summer. The preachers, there's no heter, there's no this. I tell me, Parnasa doesn't, I'm thinking this guy, that shooter guy. I was expecting, but I said, at the end, I was Malam Tzchus, and I said, no, why did they kill the guy? I said, they thought he was nuts. They thought he was shikker, they thought he was on drugs, and he gave his yearly speech, they probably thought, this guy is a lunatic. He said, anybody who wants to know how to go to work should come and ask me a shayla. If you want to take a walk, I'm going to tell you how to take a walk, if you could take a walk, and what time you could take a walk, and what time you have to leave your house to go to work, and what time you should come home. I'm thinking to myself, Shrek. I couldn't believe it. I was in spot. I was like Kiddush Hashem. For that. And you learn, why you? The biggest Kiddush. Unbelievable. But I heard he has Chashav for kids. So the Teretz is, this is what the two chatoim that we sin represent. This was the matziv that we were in. Hashem was hishve daitoi limchois es Yisroel. That was the nes, the gzeiros of Hum. We take it. They don't tell you that in school. They don't talk about that in school. The gzeira that we did wrong, the lessons that we have to learn. They don't tell you that. They're afraid. They don't want to scare the little kiddies. So they make it sound like all you have to do, you have connections. About Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, like Yonis, Ivanka, even though she doesn't cover her hair or something like that, but Afal Pike, I saw somebody write, Zisa Kinderlich, Zisa Kinderlich. Edel Lepenema guy writes, Edel Lepenema. This is the story, you understand? This is the story today. We think in Aveira, we do is lefnim. It's okay, it's a chilled out matzah, but you have to be normal. This is Rabbi Hashem telling us, you do an Aveira lefnim, for that Hashem wanted to wipe you out. You worship Avodah Zarah lefnim, you mechal shem shemayim, for that you're going to work, Hashem's going to wipe you out. They used to rant the rave, but how do you can't go to a chasna if they have waitresses that are not Jewish and not dressed properly? They should be mevat. They used to say to me, "Mevato this zeira." It's a zeira raw that came to Klal Yisrael. But today, who else is there? I think my Zay just started talking about it. That's somebody told me, and he was in this area when he came to my chassan in Cleveland. And he usually doesn't say a chassidus. Used to go in, see him as to leave. Here he sat a little bit. He sat for the chasana. So he was wondering what's going on over here. But a person has to understand. Gzeiru is chab. You have to understand that. And in a short time, they did tshuva. Very short time, 3 days. 3 days of tshuva. And to understand how you get that tshuva. What was the tshuva? What was the eitzah? Moshe Rabbeinu said the eitzah was one eitzah. You got to daven. That's the key. And you can change any gzeira subsequently.